Hi everybody, it's Zarina Vitebsky. I am a pelvic floor physical therapist, and I wanted to tell you my journey for the past 24 years of how I was introduced to pelvic floor and what I developed into. So I went to Old Dominion University and I graduated as a Neuro Physical Therapist. Loved it, wanted to do traumatic brain injury, spinal cord, and proudly went to work for Kessler, which you know is a neurological institute. And after 8 months at Kessler, I realized everybody has urinary issues and pelvic floor instability, and that's all all the roads were pointing to that. So I decided to take a class and just learn what is the basement stability, right, of every human being, from the legs up, from the cranium down. Everybody talks about the pelvis. So when I took a class, it was pretty scary, let me tell you. But it was great. I realized that's exactly what I was designed to do. So after the first class, I decided to treat just a couple postpartum mommies, a couple of pregnant ladies, a couple of older incontinence patients, all females, and I was very comfortable until I received a phone call. And it was a gentleman who was in desperate need of pelvic floor and he couldn't find anyone. And I said, oh my goodness, there's no way. I have never been trained to treat males. And he had a really good point. He said, do you know pelvic floor? And I said, of course. He's like, do you know the muscles and the nerves? And I said, yes. He's like, do you know the organs that sit on top of a pelvic floor? Yeah. He goes, why does it matter that I'm a man and you treat women? And I went, good point. So when he came in and he said, take a shot. I will not be upset if we get no result. Shockingly, after the first visit, he came back and he said, 10% better, do it again. So it inspired me, of course, to go and specialize now in male pelvic floor. So I continued the journey treating older ladies with their dysfunction. Now I went and studied male pelvic floor, which again, wet my whistle, and then really started to love it because it is a little different. And then I realized a lot of pelvic patients come to me with GI issues, right? Pain, constipation, organ dysfunction. So I went and got certified in Burrell Institute, which is a lot of from your diaphragm to your pelvic floor, just organs, how they work in a relationship to your pelvic floor. And I feel it opened a lot of doors for me because now I could do pelvic floor, the bowl itself, the organs on top. And then I realized the missing component was the breath. Nobody can breathe right, maybe if you're an incredible yogi. So I went and I got certified in breathing. And so now I realized I know the entire canister from the diaphragm to the pelvic floor. And then, of course, the more you know, the more you feel you don't know. Then I realized, ooh, isn't there connective tissue from like the head to the toes? So now I started to study all of the myofascial release, right? Craniosacral connection. So I took all of Stanley Paris courses, orthopedic courses, to learn what is the spine doing to the pelvic floor and the diaphragm. So I started to connect all of these components and realized we are so connected from the top of your head to the giant toenail on your foot, but yet we are taught to just spot treat. And for pelvic floor therapy, that's never going to work because we are looking for patterns. We're looking for the patterns of your dysfunction because I could get rid of your symptoms, but I will never cure your cause. And that was my journey. I wanted to make sure that I resolved your actual original issue. And we say we could see the tail of the dragon, but where's the head? So now I'm treating visceral mobilization, I am doing breath work, I'm doing all of the orthopedic stuff for men and women and loving it, right? I'm about now into my 15th year of treating pelvic floor. And now women are coming to me for fertility, and I'm like, oh wow, now we're talking about something else. So I realized pelvic floor therapists can also get certified in fertility. So I flew to Belize, and for 10 days I lived in a shack and slept in a hammock, and Dr. Ponte taught us how to mobilize uterus, fallopian tubes, and ovaries and decongest the pelvis when it comes to lymphatics in order for women to conceive. That was an experience. They believe in Maya techniques. Certain things they don't explain because they say, because this is so. And as a pelvic floor therapist, and we're energy workers, right? We're body workers. Sometimes you just have to believe in what you do and what your hands are capable of doing. And I always believe once you touch a human, you exchange energy, healing starts right there. So I spent probably a good 3 years specializing in that, and I started to get really incredible results. So I'm doing digestion, I'm doing infertility, and now some mothers who were my patients started to bring their children because they said they have the same issue, pelvic floor dysfunction with constipation, bladder pain, incontinence. They're just like smaller patients, right? But the techniques are very different. So I went back to school and I got certified in pediatric. So I have to tell you, I loved playing with kids. Every day I play with kids and I am the loudest in the room. And it was great. So treating the mom and treating the kid, now you're treating the family. And then the husband would come in and say, well, I have a constipation issue. So I realized my practice turned out to be as a family treatment. And then in 2019, right before COVID, I had an honor to sit in Mount Sinai and specialize in transgender pelvic floor. And it was one and only class that they held, and COVID happened, so everything shut down. But after COVID, everything opened, and now I realize that trans members are knocking on my door looking for post-surgery like vaginoplasty and phalloplasty recovery, and I was the only one in the state of New Jersey who actually knew what I was doing. So I took a couple more classes, and that's what I also do now. So my portfolio is pretty big. Women, children, male pelvic floor, transgender, infertility, breath work, and I'm telling you, my brain is on fire at the end of the day, but it keeps me busy, and that's what just keeps me going. And we always come up with the new techniques, new thoughts, and I'm so blessed that I can actually do all of that. And if somebody says, do you ever get bored? I go, never. In this practice, you could never get bored. It's because if you think this is what you're doing today, tomorrow I promise there's something new you're gonna do. So I hope this tells you my little journey of 24 years of being a pelvic floor therapist. If you have any questions or you're on the journey yourself, please feel free to contact me at pelvichealthnj.com. Thank you.